Tilana is a nritta dance which lays emphasis primarily on the rhythmic aspect of Bharatanatyam. And towards the end of the song, there is usually a lyric in praise of a god or a goddess. In this case, it is in praise of Krishna, where the gopis or the milkmaids of Vrindavan say, O Krishna, we worship you with all our hearts. Will you not show compassion and come down and sing and dance with us and delight our souls?
கண்ணா உன்னை நானே துதித்தேனே மனமிறங்கி அருள்வாய் கண்ணா உன்னை நானே துதித்தேனே மனமிறங்கி அருள்வாய் வந்து நீ ஆடி பாடி விளையாடி உறவாடி என்னை காத்திடுவாய் வந்து நீ ஆடி பாடி விளையாடி.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome everyone from what has become the home away from home for the Calgary Unitarians. As we once again face constricted social contacts aimed at slowing the spread of COVID-19, we would benefit from remembering the value of our community and the need to maintain our links with one another through whatever means are available. Whoever you are, whoever you love, wherever you are in your journey of faith or search for meaning, you are truly welcome. If you're visiting for the first time or connecting for the first time in a long time, know that we are grateful to have you with us. We come together in beloved community to grow in wisdom, welcome and deepen relationships, and act for a just and sustainable world. My name is Alex Schumacher, and I have the privilege of serving on your board of trustees. I am and continue to be a committed Unitarian because, amongst other things, I recognize the benefits of belonging to a like-minded community. We were clearly reminded last week of the importance of community in that wonderful presentation by Ryan Anderson. I am particularly grateful for the efforts being made by this congregation to come together and not let the sense of community fade away in this time in which we're obliged to maintain our social distances from one another. This is a great challenge and is being addressed so very constructively. We acknowledge that this meeting takes place on the traditional territories of the people of the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising the Siksika, Piikani, and Kainai First Nations, as well as the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations of Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta. The city of Calgary is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. We acknowledge that we are all treaty people. I have several announcements, so please bear with me for a little longer. The first is a reminder that our congregational meeting will be on December the 6th, that is next Sunday, starting at 11:45 a.m. To participate, everyone should go to the regular coffee link after the service and will be placed in breakout rooms so that while the directors do the quorum head count of members, then we will be brought back to the common meeting area. All are welcome, but only members can vote. Please do plan on attending, since we need a quorum to approve last year's financial and our new right relations covenant. The agenda and background material was sent to all members last week and will also be included in this Friday's order of service email. Secondly, the caring team is looking for who could help out on an as-needed basis with one-time errands, such as delivering medication or groceries. Would you be willing to be an errand runner from time to time? If so, please contact us at caring@calgaryunitarians.ca. And third, there is a special coffee room today for the UU Curious. Anyone new or curious are invited to meet with Reverend Deborah and membership team members to learn more about Unitarian Universalism and this congregation. To get there, go to the regular coffee hour and let the host know that you would like to be in the UU Curious breakdown room. And lastly, there will be many seasonal events, so be sure to check out this Wednesday's e-news. And with that, I now invite Reverend Deborah to light our chalice.
As the kindling of our chalice calls us into community, let there be light. As the flame of the chalice reminds us of our values, let there be light. as the glow of our chalice encourages us to hope. Let there be light. I now light our chalice. Let the light shine. There are so many religious and seasonal celebrations at this time of year that include the image of light. We are, each month, focusing on a different religious tradition. This month, and the theme for this morning, comes from the Hindu tradition, with Diwali, the festival of light, having just happened. December, we recognize the Christian faith, the roots of our faith, and significant to the social and cultural celebrations that surround us at this time of year. One way we as a congregation have traditionally recognized these roots is with the lighting of the Advent candles on the Advent candle wreath. Advent. Adventus means waiting. And the holiday season is nothing if not waiting. To get done the chores, to find the right gift, to find time for quiet moments, to accept our loved ones will not be as we wish them to be, and that we will not be together this year as we wish to be. We will light the Advent candles this holiday season, this time of waiting, to remind ourselves to enjoy the moment, the now of our lives. Yes, much is coming and always we wait. This year, the waiting perhaps a little more poignant. Let us honor the themes of Advent, the themes of hope, peace, joy, and love. Today, hope. As this season of sparkle and bright unfolds before us, the glimmering promises of hope lie like boxed jewels awaiting an adorning light. May we hold fast to hope's patient possibilities. May we lift them high, that they might catch the light of our dreams and shine bright in our broken world. And may we instill hope's challenge in the hearts of our children, that they too will live it into meaning, pouring their lives as we do ours into making it real, for themselves, for each other, for the world. I light this candle that hope may light the world this Christmas. Welcome and good morning. It is so good to be together again. So great that we find ways to keep coming together as a community. So grateful. So grateful to the many, many people it takes to make this happen. To Christopher and Daria, who are running our AV this morning, and Bob, who will master the YouTube version of it. I thank our staff, our amazing staff. Jane, our director of music, Sheila, our children and youth program coordinator, and our new communications and admin person, Todd. I want to thank our board, and Alex, thank you for the welcome, and the board for all that it is doing behind the scenes. Today, a special thanks to Doug, who is our coffee host and who is going to work with us to make the UU Curious breakout room happen. I want to also acknowledge that we are doing what we can to support artists through this time. And the dance that was our prelude was a dance group from Bethesda, Maryland, who are struggling at this time and whom we have been able to offer a little support to. They are a dance group known by our speaker this morning, the Reverend Abi, and I'll tell you more about him later. I also wanted to recognize how generous this congregation is, and that Wendy Benson and Breton Saunders have taken up the torch to make sure that we can each contribute to Christmas hampers. There will be a seasonal sipping social for our CU Friday this Friday. And on December 13th, you are encouraged to participate in the Mitten Tree drop-off at the Congregational Building between 2 and 3. All of the details will be in your e-news. This is a good time to be together, even though we are so limited in how we can be. I am so grateful for this community. And now a few words from Jane.
Good morning, friends. It's good to be together again with you in this virtual space. To kindle the spirit of hope in this time of grayness and uncertainty can some days feel like a challenge. And it will come as no surprise to any of you that one of my solutions to this is singing. Lots and lots of singing. I sing on Sunday mornings. I sing 4 days a week with choirs. And lots of you join me on Tuesday afternoons for Coffee Choir, where we regularly have between 15 and 20 singers with us. And then on Thursday nights, this past Thursday at UUphonia Online, we had an epic Beatles sing-along, and 33 of you signed in to join me for that. You can sing while you wash the dishes. You can sing on your way to the bus. You can sing in public parks. You can just hum along to the radio as you go through your day. Singing is so important and involves brain, lungs, heart, body. You can dance. This next song is a dancing song for those who feel inclined. You can dance in your chair. You can get up and move about your room. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Let's sing together.
Everyone. It is great to see you. And today, the children and youth, along with our theme of world religions for the year, they're going to be learning a little bit about Diwali, the Festival of Light, but they're also going to be learning about another tradition, one that is uniquely Unitarian. It began in 2005 because as Unitarians, we like to invent things. And it's a chance for us to take our 7 principles and bring them into a holiday. And the holiday is Chalaka. Now, some of you might be wondering, what is Chalaka? I have a little screen share for you that I can show you all about Chalaka. So happy Chalaka. These are the 7 principles that the children often use. And these are the ones that we use upstairs. And so it's as simple as going through the principles and writing down something that your family would like to do every day to celebrate that principle. So for example, every person is precious, respect and dignity. Some ideas would be to donate to a charity or honor a person in your life, perhaps write them a note. With justice and equity and compassion, human relations, we might have an act of kindness, send a message or a card to someone. And so I've kind of blown these up. And so there's the first 3. Here's the next 3 that we have, ideas, and of course, looking after Earth as the 7th. And if you'd like this full list, it's printed in our CYRE Children and Youth newsletter this week. And if you don't get the newsletter and you'd like to, just send me an email, sheila@calgaryunitarians.ca, and we can get you set up. And another thing that has happened with celebrating Chalaka is a song, Dan Flores wrote it, Chalaka song called Infinite Light. And you haven't listened to it, it's on YouTube, and I recommend it. And I can sing for you the first couple lines, and I just learned it this morning. So after Jane's wonderful singing, I'm like, oh no, what's the tune? I have forgotten everything. So how it goes, I'm going to speak it. It goes 4 7 nights, the chalice we light for Chalaka. And then you say Chalaka, and I say Chalaka, and you say Chalaka. All right. I won't be able to hear you, but I'll have to just trust that you're yelling that at the top of your lungs. 4 7 nights, the chalice we light for Chalaka, 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 Chalaka. 4 7 nights, the chalice we light for Chalaka, 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 Chalaka. 4 7 nights, the chalice we light for Chalaka, 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 Chalaka. And then it goes into this wonderful verse with our 7 principles. We light a chalice for our dignity, inherent worth in the people we see. We light a chalice for justice and peace, freedom for all and for all equity. We light a chalice for encouragement, spiritual growth in congregations. We light a chalice for truth and meaning. It's up to us to continue searching. We light a chalice for democracy, the right of conscience in our society. We light a chalice for community, though for our world is peaceful liberty. We light a chalice to connect our web, on our way forward together we live. Everybody ready? 4 7 nights, the chalice we light for Chalaka, Chalaka, that's right. 4 7 nights, the chalice we light for Chalaka, Chalaka. Oh yeah, one more time. 4 7 nights, the chalice we light for Chalaka, Chalaka. That's right. So if you'd love to hear this song some more, you can hear Dan play it on YouTube. But I want to wish all of you a very, very happy Chalaka. Now on to Lynn for our centering time.
Let us take a time of quiet reflection, beginning with words from Rabindranath Tagore, followed by a time of silence and music. Let me not pray to be sheltered from danger, but to be fearless facing it. Let me not beg for the stilling of my pain, but for the heart to conquer it. Let me not look for allies in life's battlefields, but to my own strength. Let me not crave in anxious fear to be saved, but hope for the patience to win my freedom. Grant me that I may not be a coward, feeling your mercy in my success alone, but let me find the grasp of your hand in my failure.
We are, each and every one of us, members of the caring team, for we care for each other in this community. Let us take a moment to tend the sacred bonds that bind our lives to one another, those relationships that are the foundation of beloved community. We recognize ourselves as part of an interdependent web of existence, affirming that what touches the life of one of us affects us all. In these moments, we seek to widen our caring ministry by sharing joys, sorrows, concerns, and milestones in our own lives and in the lives of the congregation. This morning, we hold each other gently as we enter another time of quarantine. There are significant concerns for mental health. Anxiety and depression are on the rise in each of us, and for some, more than others. Please reach out however you can. Be kind. Notice others and offer a little blessing if you can. There are concerns for those who are ill these days, some in hospital, and we send our healing energy to those who are facing illness. There are concerns at us being away from each other and how families will manage through this time. Let us be gentle with one another. And as I light our candle of concern, I invite you to speak aloud the concerns that you have, or hold them in the silence of your heart. I now light our candle of concern. And there are joys and milestones in our midst as well. One of the greatest joys that I'm feeling at this point is the amazing Jazz on the Side concert that happened on Friday night. For those of you who were able to be there, I know you will share my joy. Those who are not, next time. And I know of at least one birthday that is happening today. Happy birthday, Catherine. And at this very moment, one of my best friends is about to become a grandmother, as her daughter is in labor right now. There's also the joy of tests coming back negative. And I include my brother, who has now recovered from COVID. One of the greatest joys we have as a community is to welcome newcomers in our midst. And so I welcome those who are here, perhaps for the first time, or who have just been checking us out. And do join the UU Curious breakout room if you can. As I light our candle of joy for what has been spoken aloud, the guests among us, I invite you to name aloud the joys that you are holding today. Our candle of joy. And our third candle we light is a global candle in recognition of how we are part of the global community. And so I light it that we collectively contribute what we can to flattening this COVID curve. That we can shed light on those working on the front lines and those working on a vaccine. I light our candle of global concern for the global concern we all have for COVID at this time and for what we can contribute to shifting it. Our global candle. And now to Jane to introduce the song.
This next song is called Let There Be Light, and you may be interested to know that the music for this hymn was written by the Canadian composer Robert Fleming. Let's sing this one together.
And so we are focusing on light today. We're focusing on this in part because of looking at the Hindu tradition throughout this month. And so I invite you into a responsive reading from our hymnal that speaks to the Hindu tradition. These are words from the Bhagavad Gita, and I would like to invite those who live south of the Bow River to join me with the solid text, those who live north of the Bow to join Lynn in the italicized text. Brahman. I am the self that dwells in the heart of every mortal creature. I am the beginning, the lifespan, and the end of all.
I am the radiant sun among the light givers. I am the mind. I am consciousness in the living.
I am death that snatches all. I also am the source of all that shall be born.
I am time without end. I am the sustainer. My face is everywhere.
I am the beginning, the middle, and the end in creation. I am the knowledge of things spiritual.
I am glory, prosperity, beautiful speech, memory, intelligence, steadfastness, and forgiveness.
I am the divine seed of all lives. In this world, nothing animate or inanimate exists without me.
I am the strength of the strong. I am the purity of the good.
I am the knowledge of the knower. There is no limit to my divine manifestations.
Whatever in this world is powerful, beautiful, or glorious, that you may know to have come forth from a fraction of my power and glory, forth from a fraction of my power and glory.
Words from the Hindu tradition. And this morning I am so delighted to offer words from my friend and colleague, the Reverend Abhi Janamanchi. He currently serves as the senior minister of Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church in Bethesda, Maryland. Abhi was born and raised in southern India and moved to the U.S. in 1994. He is a third-generation member of the Brahmo Samaj, a Unitarian Hindu reform movement with ties to Unitarian Universalism. Abhi graduated from Meadville Lombard Theological School in Chicago in 1998, and he has been actively involved in international, interfaith, and multicultural work for over 2 decades, including serving as the president of the International Association for Religious Freedom. I had the great privilege and blessing of working for 2 years with Abhi on a program of professional development for Unitarian Universalist ministers. And so I was delighted when he agreed to the invitation to offer words for this morning. I invite you now to hear words from my friend and colleague, Abhi.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrutyormam Amrutangamaya Aviravirmayedi Rudra Yatte Dakshinam Mukham Tena Mam Pahi Nityam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from ignorance to wisdom. Lead us from the shadows into the light. Lead us from mortality to immortality. Peace, peace, peace. With the arrival of winter's low, dark sky, communities around the world look to the miracle of light as a sign of rebirth and a source of hope. A common thread woven through many winter holiday traditions and stories is the presence of light. The light of a lamp, a candle, a star, a bonfire, the light of love, of life, of God. This morning we explore the concept of Atman, or the divine inner light in the Hindu tradition, through Diwali, the festival of lights. Diwali is one of the most popular and widely celebrated festivals by Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, Buddhists, and the festive spirit expressed by those of any, all, and no religious affiliation in India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, the US, Canada, and around the world. Diwali comes from the Sanskrit word Deepavali, which is actually the merger of two separate words, Deepa, which means lamps, and Avali, which means row or series. This refers to the most prominent feature of the festival, which is the displaying of rows of illuminated lamps in homes, temples, and other buildings in order to symbolize the triumph of good over evil, of hope over despair, of peace over anxiety, and love over fear. Diwali is usually celebrated over a 5-day period, with the most important day being the third day. This central day falls on a new moon day, the 8th month in the Hindu calendar, which is a lunar calendar, which occurs usually in late October or early to mid-November. This year we celebrated Diwali on the 14th of November. For most Hindus, Diwali marks the beginning of the new year. Symbolically, it is a new start in all aspects of life, including relationships with family and friends. It is a time for community and family celebrations with prayers through puja, of togetherness, of sharing all resources, of food and gifts and service. In the Jain tradition, Diwali marks the nirvana or spiritual awakening of Lord Mahavira. And in the Sikh tradition, Sikhs believe that it was on Diwali day that their sixth Guru, Guru Har Gobind Singh, was freed from imprisonment. Known as Bandi Chor Divas, the Diwali story for the Sikh community is that of their struggle for liberation. And Buddhists in India and Nepal honor Emperor Ashoka, who on this day took the vow of nonviolence, a key Vedic principle which became an integral part of the Buddha's teachings. Now, like many Hindu festivals, there isn't just one reason to celebrate Diwali. This ancient celebration that dates back thousands of years is linked to multiple stories in religious texts. But universally, the celebration is about the triumph of good over evil. So northern India celebrates the story of King Rama's victorious return to Ayodhya with his wife Sita and brother Lakshmana after he defeated Ravana, the king of Sri Lanka, by lighting rows of clay lamps. In South India, the festival is celebrated as the day Lord Krishna and his wife Satyabhama together defeated the evil demon Narakasura. Now, many Hindus also celebrate Diwali by honoring goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance and prosperity, to seek her blessings to restart our worldly and spiritual accounting. I hope your stewardship team is paying attention to this. Prayers of thankfulness, Lakshmi Puja, are offered for future prosperity by people of all faiths. Now, while the story behind Diwali varies from region to region, the essence is the same: to reawaken to and rejoice in the inner light and understand the underlying reality of all things in service of a life larger than our own. At the heart, Hindu philosophy emphasizes the presence of the inner light, the Atman, within every living being, which is pure, infinite, and eternal, which is something beyond body and mind. Although it is not seen externally, this inner light outshines all darkness, all shadows, removes all obstacles, and dispels all ignorance. It awakens the individual to one's true nature, not as the body, but as the unchanging, infinite, immanent, and transcendent reality. With this inner realization comes universal compassion, love, and the awareness of the oneness of all things, and provides an opportunity to live into being Sat Chit Ananda, truth, consciousness, and joy. For Hindus, this is the goal of life. Hence, on the night of Diwali, people light small oil lamps and place those lamps around homes, stores, and streets, and pray for good health, for knowledge, prosperity, and peace in the new year. Now, the lamps are symmetrically arranged in rows and patterns by doorways, windowsills, steps, walls, and terraces. Now, while children are free to playfully arrange and rearrange these lights, which they do, there are some basic requirements that everyone is expected to follow. In every home, one is required to place a light at the threshold of the house, the space where the outside meets the inside, to symbolize where the inner self meets the outer self, the world. Now, the simplicity of a tiny light shining from the threshold is a powerful symbol of the meaning and call of Diwali. The divine spark that resides within each of us that drives away ignorance, fear, greed, hatred, violence, and instills in us knowledge, courage, love, patience, and peace. In the Hindu tradition, the home is a metaphor for the body, and within the home shines the light that is God, the Atman. And it is the light that enables us to hear, see, smell, taste, and touch. And its radiance allows our mind to think, to imagine, to create, and our heart to feel compassion and express love, and our hands to serve. This light, the Kena Upanishad says, is the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the speech of speech. It is also the breath of the breath, the eye of the eye. Shrotrasya shrotram manaso mano yad vachoha vacham savu pranasya pranaha chakshushaha chakshuhu. And this light is present equally in everyone, enlivening all bodies and minds. So the purpose of life in the Hindu tradition is to realize this essential truth and seek to embody it in life. It is this realization that can free us from fear, selfishness, and greed, and bless us with peace, self-acceptance, and joy. Now, one of the great temptations of this religious wisdom and awakening is its privatization. To savor the peace that is within, some believe that they must close the door of their homes and turn away from the world. And from that perspective, religion is an inward turning marked by indifference to the world and its concerns. And from that perspective, people regard God and the world, the inner and the outer, the home and the public space, as somehow mutually exclusive to each other. It is assumed that to grow close to one is to grow farther away from the other. That is, to turn to the world is to turn away from God. To look within, we must somehow cease to look outward. And religious privatization is often associated with the negativity of the world, that the world is somehow a place of evil. And liberation is equated with escape from this world. While it is tempting to shut ourselves away from all the suffering and pain we encounter in the world in order to realize inner peace, the light at the threshold of the home on the night of Diwali reminds us that our awakening to our inner light is incomplete if it does not radiate from within us to dispel the shadows of the outside world. A knowledge of the divine light within that does not shine outward in service of a life larger than our own is anemic, selfish, and deficient. If the light at the threshold reminds us that the inner light must radiate outward, it also reminds us that we must first awake to the light within before we shine it out. That is, we cannot do much good in the world outside if our own hearts are stuck in the shadows of ignorance, greed, and hate. And lost in shadow, we will only contribute to the world's suffering and not help in its overcoming. So the light that shines out must first shine within. In the Hindu tradition, light is a symbol for knowledge. It is easy, however, when we speak about knowledge dispelling ignorance, to represent ignorance as an abstract, distant, and ethereal phenomenon that is disconnected from the concrete realities of human life and existence. The light on the threshold, however, shines just outside the door. It reminds us that the shadows to be dispelled are real. It is here, it is now, and it is present in our own communities, the shadows. And these shadows take form in all the social, cultural, economic, political, and religious structures that devalue people and that are sources of suffering. We live in the shadows when we condone or practice racism, sexism, misogyny, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, xenophobia, and recklessly exploit nature. These are the demons, the negative forces against which the light on the threshold must shine brightly. Also, the Hindu way of life is based on the pluralistic acceptance of spirituality as embodied in the oft-repeated saying from the Rig Veda, Ekam Sat Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. Truth is one, the wise ones call it by many names. And closer to home, this idea is exemplified in the words of the late Reverend Forrest Church, who said, "One light shining through many windows," in describing Unitarian Universalism. Our Unitarian heritage points to the existence of one reality, one truth, one light, which shines through countless windows, universalism, each of which reveals a portion of that light. So, the question, the challenge. This year, as we go through the festive observances of light and turn to thoughts of the new year ahead, as the superficial and the ephemeral aspects of the holiday season start to fade away, can we commit ourselves to this exchange of lamps, to this awareness of the inner light radiating out into the world? Can we let Diwali and other festivals of light provide illumination for us, especially in these perilous and turbulent times when we yearn for truth and kindness and wisdom and compassion? Can we make everything we put out into the world an offering of devotion, an invitation to divinity to reside in our hearts? And can we, in the midst of all the hustle and bustle and the rushing around, take time to be still and quiet and be present enough to see and hear that divinity when it dwells there? And so, friends, may we open our doors to allow that light to enter the world. May we commit to journey together in unity while affirming our diversity. May we commit to be a circle of life manifesting the solidarity that will savor, save, and serve life. May we shine forth with the divine spirit that is within us and among us and around us For this broken and beautiful world of ours needs all the light we have to bring. May all be well. May all be peaceful. May all be whole. May all be fit for excellence. May all be filled with the holy. May all be happy, and may no one suffer. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha. Sarve Santu Niramayaha. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So may it be. Blessed be.
Thanks, Reverend Abbey, for your very profound remarks, of which we're very grateful. At this moment, I would like to return to the thoughts introduced during the greeting on the importance of beloved community. Please take a few moments now to appreciate our connections, even if many of them have to be maintained virtually at this moment, and to recognize that we are together in mind, if not in body, but certainly not alone. Our web of connections, our community, is especially important in this challenging time. This congregation's vitality and ability to play such an important role for each of us and in the wider community is sustained by the willingness of each of us to give and receive. Please consider now how you might further your role with us, either financially or by contributing your time, knowledge, and skills. Thank you.
I'm so grateful that Abhi was willing to offer his words this morning. So grateful in some ways that our current situation has invited such opportunities to come forward. Grateful that together we can shine our lights more brightly. And I invite Jane to take us into our closing song.
Friends, let your lights shine brightly and sing with joy. Let's sing together. Morning has come.
Dance with joy and sing a song of
And so, as we extinguish the chalice, dear ones, signifying the end of this time of shared worship, of sharing that which is of worth together, let us take its light within, knowing that our call is to shine it ever more brightly in the world. I extinguish our chalice. And to Jane for the closing sung benediction and invitation to coffee.
Before we sing our sung benediction, yes, let me tell you all about our coffee hour. Everyone is welcome. Everyone is welcome. And to get there, what you need to do is to leave this meeting after we've finished singing. You're going to click on that little red button that says Leave Meeting. The next screen that pops up in your browser will have a purple coffee mug on it. Click on that mug and you will be admitted to coffee hour. And we look forward to speaking with you there. Now, let's sing our sung benediction together, Spirit of Life.